Hi there folks, you know who I am. If you don't, my name's Darren Fowler and I'm returning today to let you know about my top 20 YouTube sites. So without further delay on this day, let's look at number 20, and I've gone for Mojo. They are the top 10 specialists. They cover any sort of top 10 you can think of, and if they haven't done it, they'll take in your comments and they'll probably do it. They're really good. They're a good quality production YouTube channel, and they've got loads of likes and subscribers, and I believe they use your own voices as well, which makes a change. Going into number 19, this is a new site that's come up for me, which is THFC, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. What I really like about this site at the moment is what's going on in Tottenham itself with the new stadium. Last week we had the old stadium, the last piece of it come down, and that was quite a momentous moment. And then we've seen the wonderful new stadium coming up, and from what I've seen of it, it is state of the art. I mean, it's going to hold over 60,000, it's going to have a roof on it. The glass on the outside looks amazing. There's going to be a glass tunnel where the players come in and the people can see them in the reception areas. Going to have bigger stands for the home end supporters in the country, and it's going to be really good. And obviously I'm going to make another video about Tottenham themselves later on, but yeah, that's something really exciting. And also what's really good about the site is you're actually getting to know the players and what they're doing away from the games, plus you're looking at stuff, what they're doing in the gym, what they're doing on the training pitch, and the odd funny bit and pieces that comes up, and it's just a really good site for that. So yeah, I haven't seen much of it, and that's why it's low on my list, but yeah, it will probably rise up over the future. Then I've gone for someone that I used to watch a lot on TV, but since YouTube I've been able to see a lot more of his stuff, and that's Raelia. He's fascinating. I mean, he's not just a survivalist that will live out in nature. He'll do it with a little bit of comfort, and he'll do it with a little bit of style. He'll make something very arty but very practical at the same time. It's his little tips, you know. It's like he's had a hard day's walk, and the first thing he does is he sets up his camp, puts up his hammock, and gets his talcum powder out and does his feet. I mean, that's absolutely quality. At this stage as well, I'd like to say, if you have really got serious feet problems, I use something called bentonite clay, and I mix it up into a paste, and I normally put that on like blisters or sores on my feet. And that really helps. I also mix it with a normal toothpaste, and what this clay does, it actually pulls all the infections and bacteria from your gums and your teeth themselves. And since I've been using that regularly, I haven't had any dental problems, and in the last few years I've had to have a few teeth taken out. So since I've used that, touch wood, it's all worked out really well there. So yeah, bentonite clay, you can get it from eBay or Amazon, and it's a really good product. But yeah, you know, talcum powder is a really nice thing to have for the feet, especially if you're in nature. Number 17, I mean, I like this site, but in itself it doesn't do that much. What it is a guy, he's called Clay, and that's his network, and what he's done is he's just linked onto InfoWars, and he's got a live stream running underneath it. Now the InfoWars stream itself, they're quite strict, and obviously they should be. Everyone's got their limits. It's just that on this one, no one from InfoWars or anyone's watching or listening to the feed or watching the feed. So people, it's just and 99% of what's said on that site is just absolutely silly and rude and disgusting or whatever. But it's just a chance in this day and age for people to get on there and just express their feelings and purge BS basically that's there. And even though a lot of it is offensive, you come away from there and you take it with a big pinch of salt, and you think, well, even if those problems are, people do have like gender issues or racist issues or whatever, at least they're getting it out of their system, and that's the first stage of it. But yeah, a lot of it is ridiculous, and everyone that goes on there says silly things, but it's just a good way of letting it flush it out and coming back to that site or to other sites fresher and hopefully like a better person. And obviously InfoWars itself are a really good site anyway. The reporters are great. The lead man, Alex Jones, is he's a natural showman, and he's right on. You know, he does really get the right pieces of information on there, and he looks at what the other media are not looking at. So, you know, it is really good. If you want a whole sort of perspex of society, you know, if you're American especially, or anywhere now, you can go CNN and on YouTube, and then you can have like InfoWars on YouTube, so you get like a balanced picture, or a better picture, a wider spread. So that's why I like that site. Then number 16 is Infinite Waters, a guy called Ralph. Brilliant site. He's got his catchphrases. Can I get a hello there? And he also says, and I haven't even had breakfast yet. And his eyes are always bright, and he's happy, and he's just a really good site to go on. He'll talk about anything, but I always come away from watching his sites just a little bit more happier, even if he hasn't said anything that I don't know about. Just his presence and just the way that he does things. He's got a really nice schedule in his show. You know, you can expect certain things, and that's really nice as well. But yeah, he does come up with a lot of prolific stuff, and makes you think, or makes you change your life. He loves nature. He loves eating his strawberries, if I remember correctly, and he seems to have a lot of friends and just enjoying life, and he's just looking to share his secrets. And I think he's got over 1 million subscribers now, and he's done really well. So yeah, he's one to really watch. I'd recommend. Going on to number 15. Now, the reason I've put this fella so low on the list, Senor Don Phillips, GCSI, Coast Investigator, is because he hasn't released many videos later, and obviously due to financial issues, his production levels are only at so much of a level anyway. But he is genuine. I mean, you get so much BS out there, especially with ghost shows and all the other mysterious things. But you can tell he's got a legitimate contact there with a spirit on the other side who he refers to as Becky, and a few other spirits. But they pass on the answers to him. They get him to where he needs to be. And he makes some shocking discoveries, and he really picks up on what's going on there. He even went to America and clarified a case that Ghost Adventurers had done. And he threw it on his head, and he said, no, this was nothing to do with black voodoo, demons or anything. This was actually the white Irish ghosts that were causing all of this. And he proved it because he got some really good EVPs, and he works with Becky and other spirits on the other side and got the answers. I'd like to see this guy used more. I'd like to see him become bigger and get his own show on TV. I think he's much better than Most Haunted, or I call it Most Daunted, but it's a much better show than that. And either, if he can't go on that show, he should definitely be a guest on Ghost Adventurers if they come back to England, and he should also have a look at Dorset Ghost Adventurers. But I think the way for him to go is to get his own show on TV. And he's worth it. There was another show called Walking with the Dead, which they only did like 8 pilot episodes, but that was brilliant as well, because they had everyone. They had a skeptic, they had a psychic, they had a ghost investigator, they had a film sort of editor technician, and that was a really good show as well. And they've got those on YouTube, so that's another one to watch out for. Then number 14, obviously, this leads on nicely to Ghost Adventures, and again, I've watched them probably more than anything on YouTube, and the reason they're so low on this list at only number 14 is because they've, on their channel now, they haven't got many videos, and I'm watching videos from other people's channels. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to Ghost Adventures, if you want entertainment plus a lot of education, and a lot of fantasy mixed with reality, that's a show to watch. I do honestly think they fake a lot of it, but they have got such a short time to get the information that they have to do that. But then, you know, it's America and it's entertaining. And on the other side, I still believe that they do get a lot of valid EVPs. They do get a lot of knocks. I do believe that they do come across genuine things like cold spots, especially when you see the hairs on their arms go up and stuff and the reactions. And the production is just awesome. I mean, they have got everything on that show, if you don't know about it already. They're really state of the art, and they're always pushing up with the next bit of invention or the next technique or the next way of finding a ghost, baiting a ghost. They're so good at things like that, and you know, they have literally made hundreds of episodes. They've been all around the world. So I hope that their site on YouTube grows more. So yeah, that's number 14. With number 13, because of mine and so many other people's health problems in the world, I've actually put Dr. Axe and Dr. Berg together. Now, they're two different doctors, and they've got two different channels, but they're on the same lines. They're looking at curing things by looking at the root causes, getting the symptoms right, and looking at raw or natural solutions to those problems. And I've learned so much from them. And the other thing that I really like about them is they've changed the way I have and many people look towards food. The first thing they got me onto about a year ago was looking at food in terms of acid and alkaline and the different levels that each food has, and trying to find a balance there. You don't want your foods too acidy, but you don't want them too alkaline-y. You want a good balance there. So that's a good way to look at your diet and find out about what each food's value is worth on the pH levels. And then on the other side, we've been looking at, well, they've been explaining to us about test producing and estrogen producing foods. And again, to get a balance, if you're producing too much testosterone in your body, then you can try some estrogen producing foods to get a balance, so it doesn't make you, so it basically controls your emotions, and it doesn't make you too tense with your body, you know, especially if you're putting on a lot of muscle and having a lot of testosterone flowing through you. You want to have a balance of estrogen there as well. So I found that really, really interesting, and a special notice as well to Dr. Glidden, who is absolutely brilliant. He's the one that helped me stop fizzy drinks, and he's the one that sort of taught me about fatty foods and too much proteins and everything else. He was the one who got into me, and also with you know, with taking it easy on certain foods like breads and pastas, because they are difficult to digest anyway. So that was an interesting one. Going on to number 12. Again, this guy is just an absolute hero of mine. I've grown up fishing. I've grown up fishing in England and different parts of the world myself. And what really got me going on all his episodes and really got me captivated was when he went to India, where I've been as well. And I've been on those roads by those rivers that he's been to up in India and Nepal. And the gooch catfish, I mean, my word, you know, his was like, I think it was like 155 pounds or something like that, a really big fish. And I think, yeah, if that got hold of you, that could even take an adult down. But I'm a firm believer, and this is why this story has captivated me. I'm a firm believer that there are bigger gooch out there. You know, considerably bigger. And if you saw that episode, you saw how much of a fight, fish on, and the fish was there for a good hour or so on his line. You saw what a fight that put on. And to be honest with you, even when he had that bull shark, I still thought the gooch fish was even more, because when you saw it, it was like a catfish cross between a crocodile, and it was just an amazing looking fish. I just think if there are bigger ones in there, and I'm sure there are, I'm thinking between sort of 300 to 500 pounds, I think if you had one of those, you'd have a massive fight on your hands, because you've got the tide of the river, they'll swim to the bottom, and you could have a fish on for hours. And also the one I really liked as well was the Goliath tigerfish. I mean, they're just lethal. They're all not as big as a lot of fish that he's caught, but the teeth and the jaw structure, I mean, no. I mean, I think you've got to be brave just to catch one of those fish and bring them in. You know, that was. But what I like about Jeremy, he goes around the world. He's a conservationist. He's looking at solutions and looking for answers, and he normally finds them. He's a bit of an undercover detective, really, in the river monster world, because people get killed or injured, they don't know or they're not sure what it is, and he goes out there and finds it. So yeah, it's really interesting. I just think I get this feeling now that he's run out of projects, because he's pretty much covered a lot of the world, but I'm sure that there are a lot of projects out there, and I really hope that he makes another series or two, because he's just brilliant watching, and a real gent as well. And I like the way he adapts in terms of languages and mannerisms and getting to know local people around the world. I really like that, and I think that he's just one of those characters that anyone that sees him really likes him. Apart from that time when someone from a tribe he was staying with in Central Africa went missing, and because he'd just shown up, if the guy hadn't shown back the next day, they were going to probably kill him. I mean, and he knew it as well. He was scared. He was scared for his life. And he was just so thankful, obviously, when the guy did show up, and he'd only been lost, he hadn't been taken by a big fish. So, you know, you could see the relief in him. But yeah, he's had a plane crash as well. He's had some tough times as well. But he's made some great film, and you know, seeing him with a fish on, seeing him catch something, I mean, and seeing him get answers is really, really good. I like the process of that show. Really, really good show. And yeah, I'm a really big fan of his. Number 11. This guy, if you're feeling a little bit bored, feeling a little bit down, go to Game Boy's channel. He's the one that's scamming the computer scammers. These guys that are saying they're from the IRS, or that they're representing Windows, and they remote access your computer and fix it, but only fix it so well, and they're charging you like $200-300 for it. I mean, that sort of behaviour's got to stop. And Game Boy is absolutely brilliant. He's half Indian, half American. He's got a real strong American accent, but he can understand Hindi, and he can put on the Hindi accent. And he's just a genius. He'll have two mobile phones, and he'll call two different call centres, one from IRS and one from the computer world, and he'll put them together, and they'll start having a chat with each other, and they'll either fall in love with each other, or they'll just cuss each other to high hell. And he's absolutely brilliant. And there's ones where he just keeps calling the same guy back and just winding them up even more, and just, you know, trying to sort of get him to see the truth that he should get himself another job and stop scamming people. And I really like this guy more than anything. On one of the last videos, he said, if I can make you smile, laugh just for a second or two, he goes, you're experiencing happiness, that's priceless, and that's basically why he does it. And he does make me laugh, and the cusses and everything that sometimes the computer guys come out with. There was even, he put two together, and it was an Indian man and an Indian woman, and the Indian man was trying on with the woman, and it was just so funny. But yeah, they're all on his channel, and you know, you can see I'm laughing now, but Game Boy, he's a real character. And he's doing this in the right intentions. It's a part-time hobby thing he does, but he does genuinely make people interested and happy in what's going on here, and the scenarios that come out, that just play themselves out, are awesome. So yeah, he's my number 11 on this one basically, and this is the end of part 1. I'm going to be doing my top 10 now in a minute. So like I said before, if you would like to L and S this channel, I'll deal with the D's basically. Like and subscribe, and I'll deal with the dislikes. And part 2 coming up. Cheers.